You were never born not in the way you think. You appeared, yes. You emerged into this form, yes. But your essence, the real you, has no beginning and no end. You are not flesh and bone confined to time. You are light, timeless, and indivisible. A whisper from the infinite, dancing temporarily in the costume of matter. This world taught you early on to identify with your body the way it looks, how it's perceived, what it achieves. But this identity is borrowed. It is a name written in sand, vulnerable to the next wave. Your soul, however, that eternal current beneath the skin, has never needed validation. It's simply island, and it is magnificent. You are not here to become something. You are here to remember what you've always been. Your soul does not speak in words. It does not shout or demand. It whispers, it nudges, it resonates. And when you're still enough to listen, you begin to notice that what you've been seeking out there has been quietly waiting within you all along. The world says you are a body and you might have a soul. But the truth is, you are a soul. And for a brief moment, you have a body. And what a sacred opportunity this is to walk the earth with feet made of stardust, to see through eyes that carry galaxies, to breathe not just oxygen, but presence, to feel not just emotion, but the echo of the divine within every rise and fall of your being. The body is a vehicle, temporary, miraculous, but not who you are. It is the lamp. The soul is the flame, the light it casts. That's your real essence. But we forget. We forget and we suffer. We attach ourselves to appearances, to roles, to names, to our past. We say, this is me. I am what I've been through. I am what others think of me. I am what I own, what I fear, what I lack. But none of that is true. You are not your story. You are not your scars. You are not your possessions, your achievements, your failures. You are not even your personality, for that too is shaped by the winds of experience. Who you are is the one observing all of that. The awareness behind the thoughts, the presence behind the mask, the silence underneath the noise. When you realize this, not as a belief, but as a lived knowing something miraculous happens, the grip of the ego loosens, the fear of death fades, the chase for approval loses its urgency because you remember you've never been separate from the source that created you. Your soul does not age, it does not break, it does not compare or compete, it does not cling. It watches, it learns, it loves always and without condition. The moment you begin identifying as the soul instead of the body, you step into peace. You begin to forgive more easily. You let go more willingly. You laugh more freely because you're no longer trying to protect something temporary. You're finally living from something eternal. We spend so much time trying to decorate the outside, not realizing the light we seek is already glowing within. The sacred isn't out there. It's not hidden in a temple or buried beneath years of struggle. It is within you, right here, right now. You do not need to become spiritual. You already are. Your very nature is spirit pure, formless, eternal. You just forgot. And forgetting is not a sin. It's part of the journey. But now it's time to remember. And so we begin to shed what was never truly ours to carry. The labels, the expectations, the unspoken agreements with fear, they begin to dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Because when you recognize yourself as a soul, you no longer need the weight of identity to feel real. You already are. Real, whole, eternal. The soul does not strive, it simply expresses. It does not chase happiness, it radiates joy. It does not argue for its limitations, it knows only freedom. Every burden you've carried, every wound you've protected like sacred glass, was only asking to be seen through the eyes of your true nature, through the eyes of grace. You are not broken, my friend. You are breaking open like a seed beneath the soil. And all that cracking, that trembling, that falling apart is the doorway. It's how light enters what you once tried to hide. You're not falling apart, you're falling inward, back home. The soul doesn't resist change. It flows with it, like a river moving through valleys and over stones. It knows that even detours are divine, that even delays are part of the dance, that even the heartbreak was a teacher dressed in disguise reminding you of what cannot be taken from you. And what is that? What cannot be taken? Your essence, your light, your capacity to love without condition. Your ability to start again, not because you've failed, but because you've grown. That is the soul's promise, not a life without pain, but a life where pain awakens you to deeper truth. The mind may cling to the known, but the soul delights in the unknown. The soul whispers, let go. Not because it wants you to lose, but because it knows you cannot hold what is sacred with clenched fists. You must open, you must soften, you must trust the unfolding. You see, the ego builds walls to survive. The soul breaks them to thrive. One imprisons, the other expands. And each moment offers you the choice to react from fear or respond from love. To shrink into the old story or step courageously into your higher knowing, and this knowing doesn't need proof. It doesn't ask for permission. It already island. It lives in the quiet awareness behind your breath, in the stillness between your thoughts. In the ache of longing, that's not for anything out there, but for union with your true self. When you say, I am a soul with a body, you're not denying this physical experience. You're simply remembering its role, a canvas for the eternal to paint its wisdom, a vessel, not a verdict, an instrument, not the music. And, the music you came here to play. You didn't come to live someone else's idea of a life. You didn't come to fit into the shape of someone's expectations. You came to express divinity in a way that only you can. You came to be a note in the great symphony of the universe, unique, irreplaceable, essential. But how can you play your note if you're silencing your soul? You must listen, not with your ears, but with your being, with your heart unguarded, with your attention turned inward like a compass. And there you'll begin to hear the subtle guidance that's always been there. The soul does not shout because it doesn't need to. Truth is never loud, it's simply undeniable. You are not here by accident. You are not randomly assigned a life. You are a precise expression of the infinite, placed in time and space with purpose. And that purpose is not something you need to chase. It's something you need to remember. You fulfill it not by efforting, but by aligning, by being what you already are, without resistance. By loving yourself not as a project to be fixed, but as a miracle to be revealed. The soul is not in need of repair, it's in need of recognition. Can you see it now? That the search was never to find who you are, but to unlearn who you are not. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who observes them. You are not your emotions. You are the space in which they rise and fall. You are not your past. You are the presence witnessing the unfolding of now. And you are not your body, though it is sacred, though it is divine, it is not your limit, it is your lens. And the soul is what shines through it. So breathe. Breathe not just with your lungs, but with your awareness. Breathe into the center of your being where silence is not empty, but full of wisdom, full of remembrance, full of truth. You are not the tension, you are not the noise, you are the stillness beneath it all. And in that stillness, you will find what you've been aching for, yourself. You are the sky, not the storm, the light, not the lampshade. You are the timeless essence moving through time, wearing this life like a robe. But robes can be shed. And identities, no matter how tightly held, can be released. There is no shame in loosening the grip on who you thought you had to be. The soul is not interested in how the world measures you. It is not trying to impress. It does not need validation, recognition, or applause. The soul is here for one thing, expansion. It longs to grow, to learn, to love more deeply than the day before. It wants to know itself through experience, through surrender, through presence, not through control, not through force, not through resistance. And yet we resist. We resist what changes us. We resist what softens us. We resist even our own joy, convinced we must earn it. But the soul has never once demanded your perfection. It only asks for your presence, your willingness, your open heart. You are not here to master the world. You are here to master your alignment with the infinite within you. Everything else is a reflection. Life bends to meet you at the level of your own vibration. When you radiate truth, life echoes it back. When you radiate peace, the chaos loses its grip. And when you live from soul, the entire universe becomes your mirror. There are no accidents in a universe governed by divine intelligence. That means your pain was not meaningless. It carved space for compassion. Your losses were not punishments. They redirected you toward truth. Your longing was not emptiness. It was the calling of the sacred, beckoning you back to what you've always been. And what is that? You are love. Not love as a feeling, but love as a state of being. As the origin and destination of your essence, you are not here to find love. You are love, remembering itself. Every time you offer forgiveness instead of resentment, every time you choose peace over pride, every time you allow instead of resist, the soul rejoices. Because now you are remembering. And in that remembrance, there is healing. Deep, unshakable, cellular healing. A healing that doesn't just touch your emotions, but your energy, your choices, your very perception of what's possible. The soul doesn't heal through fixing. It heals through reuniting you with your wholeness. The wholeness that was never broken, only buried. Buried beneath shoulds and doubts and masks and noise, but never lost. You have never lost your light. It simply waited patiently, silently, lovingly. Like the sun behind the clouds, it never stopped shining. So now, I ask you, what if you stopped searching for your soul and started living from it? What if you began each morning not asking, what must I do? But instead, what would my soul have me become? What would change if you stopped trying to prove your worth and simply embodied it? This is not a concept. This is a remembrance, a returning, a reuniting with what is more real than any fear, stronger than any story, more permanent than any pain. You are a soul with a body. But the body will one day dissolve and the soul will remain. That means your truth is not what you can touch, but what you are when all else falls away. That means every time you look in the mirror and think, I am not enough, you are listening to the wrong voice. You're listening to the illusion, not the light. The light says, you are enough because you are eternal. The light says you belong because you are one with all. The light says, you are love, and no circumstance can take that from you. Now, can you hear it? Then stay with me, not just with your mind, but with the quietest space in your heart. The place that doesn't need convincing, because it already knows. The place that recognizes truth, not as something learned, but as something remembered. This is the remembering, that you were never the role you played. You were never the job title, the resume, the nameplate, the applause. You were never the trauma, the betrayal, or the lonely night. You were, and still are, the eternal witness behind it all. The you that was there before the heartbreak is the same you that will remain long after healing. The you that watched your first breath will be the one to watch your last without fear. Because the soul is not concerned with beginnings or endings. It lives in the eternal now. It doesn't count years, it counts awakenings. And every moment you remember that you are more than this form that's resurrection, that's liberation, that's life, not just surviving, but soaring. So ask yourself, where have I mistaken the mask for the face? Where have I been protecting my ego instead of expressing my essence? Where have I allowed the temporary to eclipse the timeless? Your body may grow tired, your thoughts may become cloudy, your emotions may rise and fall, but the soul remains clear, present, undisturbed. Like the moon reflecting in 1,000 rippling lakes, the form may change, but the light is the same. When you know yourself as soul, you begin to see others that way too. You no longer judge the wounded behavior, you see the pain behind it. You no longer cling to being right, you find joy in being love. You no longer need to win, you already are whole. What once angered you softens. What once scared you loses its grip. What once defined you falls away, revealing the divine underneath. This is not detachment from life, this is the fullness of it. For only when you release your false identity do you become available to the miracle of what's here. Now, this breath, this presence, this sacred, now unburdened by the past, unworried about the future. You don't need to transcend this world, you just need to remember the part of you that is untouched by it. That's the paradox of the soul that is in the world, but not of it. It lives through the senses, but is not limited to them. It dances in time, but rests in the timeless. And once you taste that truth, even for a moment, you will never be the same. You begin to live differently, speak differently, love differently, because now you're not acting from fear, but flowing from essence. And in that flow, miracles become natural. Peace becomes effortless. Purpose becomes inevitable. Do not wait for the world to reflect your worth. That is the ego's game. Instead, reflect your soul to the world and watch it rise to meet you. There's a radiance that lives within you, not earned, not borrowed, but born of the infinite. And no darkness, no rejection, no failure has the power to diminish it. It is your inheritance. It is your birthright. It is your home. So come home. Come home to the stillness inside the storm. Come home to the presence behind the performance. Come home to the love that asks for nothing in return. Come home to yourself. Because when you live from soul, you live from source. And when you live from source, life flows not without challenges, but without resistance. And that is where freedom lives. Not in what you own, not in what others see, but in what you know deep in your bones about who and what you truly are. You are not a body with a soul. You are a soul that for a moment wears a body. Let that truth breathe through every cell of your being. Let it guide your words, your walk, your choices. Let it dissolve the illusions that have kept you small. Let it unchain the love you've been afraid to give. Let it set fire to the doubts that once kept you waiting for a sign. You are the sign. You are the light you've been seeking. You are the peace you've been chasing. You are the miracle you've been praying for. All of it lives within you, not in the future, but in the eternal now. Then allow yourself to fall even deeper into this space, the space where truth is not spoken to the mind, but remembered by the soul. You are not here to add more to yourself. You are here to strip away what was never true. The false beliefs, the borrowed fears, the armor built from past pain, all of it was never yours. It was lent to you by a world that forgot its own soul. But now you remember, and in remembering, you reclaim. Reclaim your stillness. Reclaim your softness. Reclaim your knowing, the deep, unshakable knowing that you are divine presence in motion. There is nothing more powerful than a human being who knows they are more than human, not above it, not beyond it, but deeper than it, infused with a presence that cannot be named, only felt. When you live from this place, there's no need to rush, no need to prove, no need to defend, because presence has no need for protection. It's simply island. The body may grow weary, the mind may wander, but the soul remains anchored in the now. And when you return to that now, you realign with the rhythm of the universe, the heartbeat of God, the breath of eternity pulsing through this moment. You do not need to become spiritual. You are spirit. You do not need to achieve peace. You are peace underneath the layers of thought. You do not need to attain love. You are love in its purest and most formless state. Everything else is illusion. Everything else is ego's voice whispering of separation when unity is all that ever was. You have never been separate from the source, not for a second. The wave is not separate from the ocean. It may rise, it may fall, but it never ceases to be ocean. So too with you. This lifetime is not a departure from God. It is God discovering itself through your eyes, your voice, your heart. And when you see others, truly see them not as roles, not as opinions, not as identities, but as souls cloaked in temporary flesh, you begin to live in reverence. Every encounter becomes holy. Every gaze becomes sacred. Because now you are no longer looking at others, you are looking into them. And what you find is yourself. All division begins with the belief that we are only bodies. All violence begins with the belief that we are separate selves fighting for survival. But the soul knows there is no other. The soul knows we are one, expressions of one source, echoes of one song, waves of one sea. When you wake up to this, truly wake up, your life becomes a prayer in motion, a meditation that walks and breathes and speaks. Your presence becomes your offering. Your silence becomes your wisdom. Your existence becomes your purpose. You stop asking, what should I do? And begin asking, how shall I be? And being becomes the blessing. Being patient, being kind, being rooted, being aware, being open, being here. That is how the soul moves through the world, not with noise, but with depth, not with force, but with grace. And grace is what you came here to embody. Grace not as something earned, but something remembered. Something so natural to your being that once you stop trying to be more, it reveals itself. This is the paradox. When you finally stop reaching outside yourself, the entire universe reaches through you. Your words begin to heal. Your touch begins to comfort. Your silence begins to teach. Not because you are trying, but because you are being. And that being is soul. You are not your past. You are the presence that has witnessed it all. You are not your trauma. You are the awareness that has survived it all. You are not your mistakes. You are the light that outshines them all. Let go now, not because you're broken, but because you're ready to be whole. Let go of who you were told to be. Let go of the guilt that keeps replaying an old story. Let go of the anxiety that believes you are alone in this. You were never alone. You were just disconnected from your own light. But even in that disconnection, the light never left you. It waited, patiently, quietly, lovingly, because that's what light does. It waits until you are ready to see. And now, you are beginning to see, not with the eyes in your head, but with the eyes of your soul, the eyes that recognize divinity, not as an idea, but as the truth beneath all forms. So walk forward not as someone seeking approval, but as one who already is what they were seeking. Walk not with the posture of striving, but with the stillness of remembering. Walk not to get anywhere, but to embody what's already here. You are soul. You are sacred. You are enough. Not someday, not once you heal, not when the world sees it. But now, and now is all that ever mattered. There is a place in you that has never been touched by fear. A place that has never doubted its worth, never questioned its belonging, never once asked for permission to exist. It is the silent chamber of your soul, untouched by time, unbothered by the noise of the world. And it is here in this holy stillness that you remember who you are. You are not the seeker, you are what is being sought. You are not the question. You are the answer that has always been whispered between the beats of your heart. You are not the journey. You are the presence walking through it. This remembrance is not a belief. It is not a philosophy to be argued or a doctrine to defend. It is a truth so intimate, so innate, that when you touch it, it feels like coming home to yourself. This is the soul's gift. It never condemns, never compares, never rushes you toward enlightenment. It waits. And in its waiting, it teaches the greatest lesson of all that you have always been enough, even in your mess, even in your grief, even in the chapters you've tried to hide from the light. The soul sees no shame in your becoming. It only sees beauty in your unfolding. There is no scoreboard in the soul's world, no measuring stick of success. There is only presence. And presence doesn't ask, how far have you come? It asks, are you here, fully, gently, lovingly? The ego builds identities. The soul reveals essence. The ego separates. The soul includes. The ego argues to be right. The soul listens to understand. And every time you choose soul over ego, you soften the world around you. You bring peace where there was noise. You bring light where there was confusion. You become a lighthouse, not trying to convince the ships, but simply shining. And people feel it. They may not say it, but they feel it. They feel the calm in your presence, the depth in your silence, the truth in your eyes, not because you're perfect, but because you're real, because you've come home to yourself, and now they remember how to come home too. You begin to live not for appearances, but for alignment, not for attention, but for authenticity, not to escape life, but to become one with it fully, fearlessly, faithfully. Because now you see your worth was never negotiable. Your light was never conditional. Your presence was never accidental. You were chosen by the infinite, not as a mistake, but as a message, a sacred note in the divine song of existence. You are not here to be small. You are not here to play the part others cast for you. You are here to radiate without apology, without delay, without shrinking. And you don't need to know the entire path. You just need to know the next aligned step. The soul doesn't demand a 5-year plan. It whispers, be here now, and the rest will reveal itself. You are guided. You are held. You are loved, not because of what you do, but because of what you are. And what you are is eternal. So stop fighting the truth of your own brilliance. Stop deferring your peace to someday. Stop thinking your healing lives at the end of achievement. It lives here. Now, in the choice to return again and again to the stillness behind your breath, you are not a project. You are a presence. You are not a mistake. You are a miracle. You are not chasing purpose. You are walking purposefully. Because when you live as soul, everything becomes sacred. The ordinary becomes holy. The mundane becomes divine. And you begin to see there is no separation between you and the source. There never was. The same intelligence that paints galaxies into existence is breathing your lungs right now. The same presence that holds stars in orbit is holding you through your tears. The same love that carved mountains and oceans is etched into your DNA. You are not separate from God. You are the presence through which God experiences this world. And when you live from that truth, not as a concept, but as a conviction, you no longer need to hustle for worth. You no longer beg for love. You no longer seek outside what already radiates within, because you are that love. You are that worth. You are that light. And this is what it means to be a soul with a body, not a body with a soul. You are not here to arrive. You are here to remember. To remember the silence that knows your name. To remember the stillness that has never abandoned you. To remember the light that needs no fixing, only revealing. And so, as the world continues to spin and the noise continues to call, you now carry something different. A deeper awareness, a softer strength, a sacred knowing that you are not the waves crashing against the shore. You are the ocean itself. You are not the role you play. You are the breath behind the words. You are not your reflection in the mirror. You are the radiance that makes that image glow. You are a soul, eternal, boundless, free. And this body, this life, this fleeting form, it is your canvas. Now paint it with peace. Move with love. Speak from truth. And live like the divine spark you've always been. Not someday. Now, you are not here to prove your light. You are here to be it. And so you shall. Take a deep breath and listen. Listen not with the ears alone, but with the ears of your soul, the quiet, powerful awareness at your very core. Because what I share with you now is not new information, nor some distant truth to grasp at. It is simply a remembrance, a returning, a gentle yet profound awakening to the truth you've known all along. You are here in this divine, exquisite moment, not by accident, not by mere chance, but by cosmic design. You are not a fleeting spark cast upon the shores of a chaotic universe. You are instead the universe itself, condensed into human form, divine starlight wrapped in flesh and bone, a spiritual being having a deeply meaningful human experience. And in this magnificent revelation lies the key to your freedom. Freedom from the illusion of ego, from the prisons you've constructed out of fear, judgment, doubt, and separation. All around us we see individuals struggling, feeling isolated, suffering under the heavy weight of their illusions, the illusions of separation, of inadequacy, of limitation. And the greatest of these illusions is the one that whispers softly, you are your ego. It is this falsehood that keeps you small, confined, imprisoned within a self-image constructed out of societal conditioning, parental expectations, cultural paradigms, and the ceaseless voice of self-criticism that echoes through your mind. But, my dear friend, you are not your ego, you never were. The ego thrives on separation, on judgment, on anxiety, always demanding more validation, more recognition, more power. It convinces you that you are incomplete, always lacking, always searching outside yourself for fulfillment, peace, love, and happiness. But the peace you seek, the fulfillment that your soul yearns for, is not found in external acquisitions, fleeting pleasures, or superficial validations. It is found in your silent, eternal union with the source itself. It is found when you choose consciously to become a host to God rather than remain a hostage to ego. What does it mean to be a host to God? It means recognizing and nurturing the divine presence within yourself, inviting God consciousness to live, breathe, speak, and act through you, rather than resisting and controlling life's flow from the limited perspective of ego. It means surrendering the incessant need to manage every outcome, to manipulate every scenario, and instead aligning yourself with the boundless wisdom, compassion, and creativity of the universal intelligence that guides every atom, every molecule, every heartbeat. When you become a host to God, you acknowledge that life is not happening to you, it is happening through you. You are an instrument, a divine channel for the universe to express itself uniquely and powerfully. Imagine, if you will, your life as a garden. You have two choices. You can tend this garden lovingly, watering the seeds of kindness, gratitude, compassion, and joy, allowing these divine qualities to flourish within you. Or you can neglect this garden, letting weeds of ego, resentment, bitterness, and doubt choke the very life and beauty out of it. The choice is always yours. The ego would have you believe that power lies in control, in manipulation, in forcefulness, and in dominance. But true power, the power that transforms worlds, moves mountains and heals broken hearts comes from surrender, from allowing the divine to flow effortlessly and unimpeded through you. The sun does not control the earth, yet his gentle warmth awakens the flowers and nurtures all life. The ocean does not command the waves, yet its tides shape entire continents. So too you must recognize your truest power lies in gentle alignment, in effortless allowing, in being open and receptive to the divine current within. You see, the ego is merely a conditioned construct, a mask you wear to interact with the physical world. It is useful in certain practical ways, but it was never meant to become your master. Your true identity, your eternal essence is infinitely greater, infinitely more magnificent than any constructed personality or fleeting label. You are boundless awareness. You are unconditional love made manifest. You are the divine intelligence that creates galaxies, that orchestrates the dance of planets, that breathes life into the smallest blade of grass. When you truly embody this awareness, everything shifts. The world around you transforms because you have transformed from within. Each moment, every breath, every heartbeat is an opportunity, a divine invitation to release yourself from the bondage of egoic thinking, to rise above your limitations and step fully into your spiritual identity. It is not a struggle or a fight. It is a gentle awakening, like the dawning of a new day, soft, effortless, and filled with infinite potential. Imagine for a moment waking up tomorrow and feeling an indescribable peace, a joy unbound by conditions, a love unconditional and vast. Imagine feeling deeply connected with everyone and everything around you, knowing with absolute certainty that you are never alone, never separated from your divine source. Imagine living your life from this place of divine alignment, experiencing abundance, creativity, clarity, and purpose, not because you strive and fight, but because you allow yourself to be an open vessel, receptive and available to the flow of the divine. Now, know this deeply and profoundly. This life, this experience is not only possible, it is your birthright. You were never intended to struggle under the tyranny of ego. You were born to shine, to radiate the infinite light of your divine heritage, to live joyously, passionately, and fearlessly. And the only thing standing between you and that life is the simple, courageous act of surrender, letting go of your tight grip on the illusionary self, releasing yourself into the embrace of the infinite, trusting fully and completely in the divine intelligence that guides all things. Letting go does not mean losing anything. It means gaining everything. It means dropping the heavy baggage of past resentments, releasing the weighty chains of regret, shame, and guilt, and stepping lightly and confidently into the present moment. The ego will resist this, for it fears its own extinction. But you, dear friend, have no need for fear. Fear is the ego's illusion. Love is your eternal truth. When you choose love over fear, openness over control, surrender over struggle, you step into a realm of miracles. Synchronicities begin to flow effortlessly into your experience. Opportunities present themselves with ease. Relationships blossom with harmony and grace. Healing, both physical and emotional, unfolds naturally. Life becomes a joyful dance, not a weary battle. Becoming a host to God is not a once-in-a-lifetime event. It is a moment-to-moment practice, an ongoing journey of gentle self-awareness and loving intention. Each day, affirm quietly to yourself, I release the illusion of ego. I embrace the truth of my divine identity. I welcome God's presence to move through me, guide me, inspire me, and uplift me. I am not alone. I am divinely supported in every moment. As you integrate this awareness, you will see the world through eyes of compassion, understanding, and unity. You will recognize others not as adversaries or competitors, but as fellow travelers, divine souls on their unique journey toward awakening. Judgment falls away, replaced by kindness. Anxiety dissolves into loneliness, fades into the profound knowing that you are always connected, always guided, always loved. My dear friend, the invitation is always before you. Will you remain hostage to ego, enslaved by illusions of separateness and fear? Or will you open your heart, surrender your resistance, and become a host to God, a beacon of love, a channel of divine grace? The answer lies within you, gently calling you home to your truth. Listen now. Your soul is speaking. It whispers softly yet clearly. You are ready. You are worthy. You are love. And so at Island, and in this sacred moment of awakening, you begin to realize that freedom is not something to be pursued out there beyond the horizon or in the hands of another, but a sacred landscape to be discovered within yourself. The soul's journey is inward, a pilgrimage into the sanctuary of your own heart. Here, the echoes of the ego's chatter begin to soften, revealing the stillness that was always present beneath the noise, the tranquil lake of pure being untouched by the storms of thought or circumstance. This stillness is not emptiness, but fullness and abundant wellspring from which every desire, every hope, every true longing flows effortlessly. To live as a host to God is to drink deeply from this well, to bathe daily in the waters of grace that wash away illusions and leave behind only truth. And that truth is simple, radiant, and humbling. You are enough exactly as you are. Not because of what you achieve, acquire, or become, but because of the divine essence you carry like a flame that no shadow can ever extinguish. When the ego fades into the background, you begin to see life through the eyes of the soul, and suddenly the world transforms from a battleground into a sacred dance. Every encounter, every challenge, every breath is infused with purpose and meaning. The difficult moments no longer threaten to break you, but serve as mirrors reflecting your own strength, your own resilience, your own capacity for love. In this sacred perspective, pain becomes a doorway, not a prison, a place where you surrender the illusion of separation and step into the healing embrace of unity. You begin to understand that forgiveness is the light that dissolves the walls of your inner prison. It is not a favor you grant others, but the liberation you gift yourself. Forgiveness frees you from the chains of justified resentments, which are nothing more than shadows cast by the ego's fear and pride. To forgive is to reclaim your sovereignty, to declare that no wound from the past holds dominion over your present or your future. It is an act of radical love, a declaration of your commitment to live unshackled and whole. As you continue along this path, the temptation to cling to old stories, identities, and fears will arise, but you will meet them now with a new strength, a gentle, unwavering courage born from your divine connection. You realize that your thoughts are not your master. They are passing clouds across the vast sky of your awareness. You choose which thoughts to nourish and which to release, cultivating a garden rich with seeds of peace, compassion, and joy. In this sacred garden, your purpose blooms not as a destination to conquer, but as a natural expression of your authentic self. You awaken to the understanding that purpose is not something outside of you waiting to be found, but the unfolding of your divine essence through every moment, every act of kindness, every breath taken in awareness. Your life becomes a prayer in motion, a living testament to the infinite wisdom that flows through you when you no longer resist but yield. The journey from hostage to host is not a battle fought with force, but a dance embraced with grace. It is an ongoing invitation to trust in the unseen currents that guide your life, to surrender your need for certainty, and to walk boldly into the mystery with an open heart. You begin to see that the divine does not demand perfection. It calls only for your willingness to be present, to be honest, and to be brave enough to let go. And so, as the dawn breaks upon your soul, you step forward as a radiant vessel carrying the light of love into every corner of your existence. You embody the truth that to be human is to be both fragile and infinite, a reflection of the sacred dance between earth and sky, form and formlessness, ego and essence. Your awakening is a beacon not just for yourself, but for all who cross your path. Your presence becomes a healing balm, a reminder that beneath the masks and the stories, we are all divine beings longing to be free. The freedom you claim is a gift that ripples outward, touching hearts, awakening spirits, and transforming the world one soul at a time. Remember always, you are not separate from this vast, unfolding universe. You are its breath, its light, its love made manifest. When you choose to be a host to God rather than a hostage to ego, you reclaim your sacred inheritance and live as the miracle you were always meant to be. And in this knowing, you find your true home, ever present, ever loving, and infinitely free. In this space of awakened presence, every breath becomes a prayer, a sacred rhythm that connects you to the heartbeat of the cosmos itself. You begin to perceive that the barriers you once believed so solid, the fears, the doubts, the stories of limitation are in truth but fragile veils of mist, dissolving in the light of your awareness. This awakening is not a destination to reach, but a perpetual unfolding, an eternal blossoming of your spirit toward its boundless nature. To be a host to God is to cultivate a garden of acceptance within, where every thought and feeling, no matter how shadowed, is invited in and transformed by the gentle touch of compassion. The ego may scream and resist, clinging to control, but your soul whispers the truth that true power lies in surrender, not surrender to weakness, but surrender to the infinite strength of love that flows through you when you release resistance. This surrender is not giving up, it is rising up into a greater truth. It is the knowing that you are both the ocean and the wave, the stillness and the movement, the finite form and the infinite essence. In this paradox lies your freedom, the freedom to be fully human and yet endlessly divine. As you walk this path, you become a beacon of light in a world that often forgets its own radiance. Your very presence invites others to remember who they are, to awaken from the slumber of egoic illusion and step into the vastness of their own souls. You are no longer merely surviving, you are thriving as a living embodiment of grace, courage, and infinite possibility. So let your heart be wide open, your spirit unbound, and your mind at peace. Live as a host to God, not a hostage to ego, and watch as the world around you transforms in response to the light you carry within. This is your sacred journey, your divine birthright, and the greatest gift you can offer to yourself and to all of creation. And with this knowing, you step forward into the unfolding miracle of your life, free, whole, and deeply loved. In the quiet spaces between your thoughts, a sacred invitation arises to awaken beyond the confines of habitual patterns and step into the vastness of pure awareness. This awareness is like a gentle breeze that stirs the still waters of your being, revealing depths untouched by fear or limitation. It is here that you discover a sanctuary of light, where the restless mind can rest and the heart can finally exhale its burdens. Each moment offers the chance to release what no longer serves and to embrace the subtle power of presence. Like a river that carves its path through stone, not by force but by persistence and grace, your steady attention reshapes the landscape of your inner world. Resistance softens, allowing a fluidity that honors the natural rhythm of life's unfolding. Within this sacred flow, your true nature unfolds as an expression of boundless creativity and infinite possibility. You find yourself moving with effortless ease through challenges, not as obstacles, but as teachers inviting growth and deeper understanding. Every experience becomes a thread in the rich tapestry of your awakening, woven with threads of courage, compassion, and wisdom. This awakening ignites a quiet revolution within, a shift from seeking outside validation to trusting the profound intelligence that pulses through your very cells. It is a return to a home beyond thought, where knowing transcends knowing, and love is the only language spoken. Here, the soul recognizes itself reflected in the dance of light and shadow, embracing all with tender acceptance. As you embody this presence more fully, your footsteps echo softly but surely upon the path of transformation. You become a beacon not by striving, but by simply being a luminous presence that invites others to remember their own divine origins. Your life becomes a living prayer, a testament to the power of surrender and the grace that blossoms when the heart opens wide. So walk this path with gentle confidence, trusting that the universe conspires in your favor, guiding you with unseen hands toward wholeness. The barriers dissolve, the veils lift, and the radiant essence within you shines forth pure, untamed, and gloriously free. And in this unfolding, you come to realize freedom is not a distant dream, but the very breath of your existence waiting to be claimed here and now. There is a sacred rhythm to all transformation, a subtle unfolding that invites patience and trust. Like the gentle unfurling of a lotus in the morning sun, your soul's awakening is tender and profound, revealing beauty that was always present but hidden beneath layers of doubt and conditioning. This process asks you to soften your grip on control and to listen deeply to the whispers of your intuition, the quiet nudges of your heart, and the sacred stillness where true wisdom resides. Within this sacred space, you begin to see that your limitations are not walls, but gateways, portals to deeper understanding and expansive freedom. Every perceived failure, every moment of discomfort is a sacred lesson, a call to release old identities and step into the lightness of being. The soul does not grow through resistance, but through surrender, not by fighting the current, but by flowing with the tide of divine intelligence. As you surrender, a remarkable alchemy takes place. Fear dissolves into courage, confusion melts into clarity, separation transforms into unity. The fragmented parts of yourself come together in harmonious wholeness, and you begin to live not from reaction, but from conscious creation. You become a co-creator with the universe, shaping your reality from the fertile ground of love, intention, and aligned action. This is not a distant ideal, but a living reality available to you now. It is the choice to awaken each day with a heart open to possibility, a mind clear of judgment, and a spirit willing to embrace the unknown with faith. In doing so, you move beyond the limitations imposed by egoic thought and step fully into the expansive freedom of your divine nature. And as you walk this path, remember that the journey itself is sacred. Each step, no matter how small, carries profound meaning. The challenges you face are not burdens, but blessings, opportunities to deepen your trust, to cultivate resilience, and to express the boundless love that is your true essence. So rise with the dawn of each new moment, radiant and fearless, knowing that you are supported by the infinite wisdom of the cosmos. You are no longer bound by fear, doubt, or separation. You are a luminous expression of divine love, free to create, to heal, and to inspire. In this sacred freedom, your life becomes a song, a melody of grace, courage, and joy that resonates through every corner of existence, reminding all who hear it that true liberation begins within. And as this melody unfolds within you, it harmonizes with the greater symphony of life, reminding you that you are both composer and instrument, creating beauty with every thought, word, and action. The burdens that once weighed heavy now become the very notes that enrich your song, giving depth, texture, and meaning to your unfolding story. Each challenge faced, each fear confronted becomes a crescendo of strength, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit when it aligns with the divine. In this alignment, time loses its tyranny. Past regrets and future anxieties no longer imprison you because you have stepped fully into the eternal, now the sacred present moment where creation breathes and miracles unfold. Here you discover that your true power is not in controlling the unfolding of events, but in choosing how you engage with them, with love, with presence, with unshakable faith. The universe is not an indifferent machine, but a conscious, living tapestry woven with intention and care, and you are its vital thread. When you embrace this truth, your life ripples outward like a stone cast into a still pond, touching hearts, awakening souls, and inspiring transformation beyond what you could imagine. You become a channel through which the divine dances on earth, a living testament to what is possible when one chooses freedom over fear, love over limitation. So release the need to be perfect, to have all the answers, or to carry the weight of the world alone. Instead, rest in the knowing that you are infinitely supported by a wisdom far greater than your own, a wisdom that flows through you when you quiet the noise of ego and open to the silence of your soul. In that sacred silence, miracles are born, healing begins, and true freedom is found. Step forward now, not as one who seeks freedom, but as one who embodies it radiant, whole, and beautifully free. You are the host of divine light, the vessel of infinite love, and the living proof that surrender is the ultimate act of power. And so the journey continues, ever deeper, ever higher, carried by the wings of grace into the limitless expanse of your true self. Within this unfolding journey, you come to understand that true strength is born not from resistance, but from embracing vulnerability with courage. The walls built by the ego to protect you become bridges that connect your fragmented self to the vastness of universal love. Each moment of surrender peels away the layers of illusion, revealing the luminous essence beneath a radiant spirit unbound by circumstance, limitless in possibility. This transformation invites you to live with a heart wide open, inviting compassion not only for others but also for yourself. In this space, self-judgment fades, replaced by gentle acceptance and the knowing that you are a divine expression of life, inherently worthy and deeply loved. The dance between shadow and light becomes a sacred rhythm, teaching you that wholeness is found in embracing all aspects of your being. As you embody this truth, your presence becomes a healing force, a beacon that quietly shifts the energy around you. The fears that once seemed so real dissolve into the vastness of your awareness, revealing a landscape of peace where creativity and joy flow freely. You begin to move through life not as a victim of circumstance, but as a conscious creator aligned with the harmonious pulse of existence. Remember, the path of awakening is not a race, but a sacred, unfolding each step, a precious invitation to deepen your connection with the divine within. Trust in this process, knowing that every challenge is a teacher, every breath a gift, and every moment an opportunity to choose love over fear. And so, with renewed faith and open arms, you walk forward no longer bound by the chains of ego, but soaring on the wings of your true limitless nature. And now as your spirit drinks deeply from this wellspring of awakening, the final veil begins to lift. The illusions of separation, the walls of doubt, and the chains of fear dissolve softly, like morning mist kissed away by the sun's gentle warmth. You awaken fully, not as a fragment, not as a shadow, but as a radiant whole, a living embodiment of divine presence. In this awakening, you recognize that your life is neither a random series of events nor a burden to bear, but a sacred dance choreographed by the infinite intelligence that moves through all things. Each breath you take, each heartbeat that pulses within your chest, is a note in this cosmic symphony, resonating with timeless harmony and endless grace. You are not alone, never were. You are the very expression of a love so vast, so profound, that it surpasses all understanding. Let this truth sink deeply into your bones. You are a host to God, not a hostage to ego. This realization is your liberation, the key that unlocks the prison of self-imposed limitations. The ego, with its fearful whispers and grasping hands, begins to lose its grip as you choose again and again to live from the vastness of your soul rather than the narrowness of conditioned thought. Each time you surrender your small self, your limited story, you open space for the divine to flow freely, transforming your life into a radiant temple of peace, joy, and freedom. Imagine now a life where you move with effortless grace through the challenges that once seemed insurmountable, where setbacks are no longer wounds but lessons carved by the hand of wisdom, where every moment, even though shadowed by difficulty, is an opportunity to deepen your faith and expand your heart. This is the life that awaits when you embrace your true nature, the unbounded eternal essence that has always been your home. You begin to see yourself as the alchemist of your experience, transmuting pain into power, fear into faith, and confusion into clarity. The old stories that once held you captive fall away like autumn leaves, revealing the rich soil of your being ready to nurture new growth. You no longer seek approval from outside, but find within an unshakable well of worthiness. This self-love is not selfishness, but the sacred foundation from which all love flows toward yourself, others, and the universe. With this love as your compass, your relationships transform. You no longer engage in battles of control or fear, but choose connection through authenticity and compassion. You recognize the divine spark in every soul you encounter, seeing reflections of your own sacredness in their eyes. Judgment softens into understanding, competition yields to cooperation, and loneliness dissolves into unity. In this spaciousness, healing happens not only within, but radiates outward, touching lives and awakening hearts. Your mind, once a turbulent sea tossed by worries and doubts, becomes a still lake, reflecting the vast sky of your consciousness. Thoughts arise and pass like clouds, no longer storms to be feared, but gentle visitors to be observed. In this clarity, your intuition speaks with a voice both tender and wise, guiding your steps with certainty born not of force, but of alignment with universal truth. You move forward with confidence, knowing that you are exactly where you need to be, unfolding exactly as you should. The world around you shifts in response to your transformation. Doors open that were once locked, opportunities arise in places you least expected, and synchronicities dance like sparks of divine magic along your path. You are a magnet for grace, a living beacon of hope and possibility. Through your presence, others are invited to remember their own light, to awaken from the slumber of ego and step boldly into their sacred selves. But remember, dear one, this journey is not about perfection or constant striving. It is about presence, the willingness to show up fully, moment by moment, with an open heart and a curious spirit. It is about embracing both your light and shadow, your strength and vulnerability, knowing that all are threads woven into the magnificent tapestry of your being. There will be days when the old fears rise like storms and the voice of ego calls out with familiar lies. Yet now you carry within you a sanctuary, a place of peace untouched by circumstance. Return there when the winds howl, breathe into the stillness, and remember who you truly are. In that sacred space, you are whole, you are free, and you are profoundly loved. Let this knowing be your anchor and your wings. Anchor yourself in the truth of your divine essence, and let your spirit soar beyond the confines of limitation. Walk gently upon the earth, but with the courage of the stars shining brightly within you. Your journey is a blessing not only to yourself, but to all of creation. A light that cannot be dimmed, a song that cannot be silenced. So rise now, radiant soul, and claim the freedom that is your birthright. Be a host to God in every thought, every word, every action. Let the love within you overflow, touching every corner of your life and the lives of those you meet. Live boldly, love fiercely, and shine endlessly. The path ahead is luminous, the journey sacred, and the destination always home. And in this knowing, this sacred truth, you find your ultimate freedom, the freedom to simply be wholly and completely the divine miracle that you are.